Hi, everybody. Welcome to Heart, where I speak from my heart about life with my heart. I'm Ray. In each episode, I'll share my journey through heart disease, resilience, and everything in between. Let's get started. So let's go back to where it all began, where it all started. Saturday, February 1st, the year 2020. I woke up that morning and went to go about my regular routine. And as I walked out of my bedroom to step into the bathroom, I felt the heaviness of someone gently, politely laying 3 tons of bricks on my shoulders. And in that moment, I thought, as I had many times before, oh, today will be a day I don't feel so great. Because I had many days like that where I just didn't feel good. Like I wasn't deathly ill, but I just didn't feel well. So I went on about what I was doing. I used the restroom. I went into the living room. I talked to my mom that morning, and I just felt heavy. I just felt heavy. But as I sat, this was about 8:30 that morning, I guess I'll say. And as I sat, things started to progress. So I started to feel an uncomfortable cramping-like feeling in my shoulder. And it wasn't painful, it was just kind of uncomfortable. So I tried to move around to find a more comfortable space. I tried to find some relief, tried to find a way that I could sit. So throughout the day, I moved from the couch to the chair. I think I went and got back in the bed for a little bit. I got back up. I think I even at one point was in the floor. Just trying to moving my body around, trying to find some form of relief. And I never did. So a couple times my mom had asked me, are you sure? Maybe we ought to go to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I don't need to go to the hospital. I'll just, I just don't feel good. I'll be all right. No big deal. Well, throughout the day, my breathing got a little heavier. But all of these symptoms I had had before. So nothing stood out. Nothing seemed, out of the ordinary because I had days like this. So it came to be about, I'll say about 3 o'clock. Yeah. I laid around from 8:30 something that morning until, I did. Anywho, so it's about 3 o'clock, somewhere around there. And mom was like, again, I'm telling you, I really feel like, you really need to go to the hospital. And I was like, well, alright, whatever. Alright, I'll go. I know we're going to be over there all day. And it's going to be, take forever to be in the emergency room, blah, 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 whatever. So I told her, I said, let me eat something and let me take a shower and then we can go. Because, again, I knew we were going to be there forever and I hadn't eaten that day and, whatever. Well, she made me a ham sandwich, plain sandwich. Just bread and ham. There was nothing else on it. And I went to bite into the sandwich. I took the first bite of the sandwich. and I could not physically chew the sandwich. I could not make myself open and close to chew the sandwich. I had to spit it out. And it was in that moment, that particular moment, that I realized this is not right. Something's not right. So I got dressed and we went to the hospital. So we go to the hospital and I, tell them everything that's going on, and they take me back. I remember them doing blood work. They, was running all these tests, as they do in the emergency room, trying to figure out what's going on. And everybody was cool. Everybody was nice. Everybody was talking to me, and, like normal. I'm chill. I still feel a little type of way, but it's an ER trip. So after I would say probably an hour or so, maybe 2 hours, they tell me, well, we're gonna admit you, we're gonna keep you overnight, blah 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 blah. All right, whatever. If that's what you want to do, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. So let's go. So they get me to a room finally, after forever, because I finally made it to the hospital, say about 4:30, and I did not make it to my first room until about 11, I'll say. So I was in the emergency room all of that time. So the nurse takes me to my room, and my mom is there for a little bit, so she leaves. She's gonna go get a few things for me and whatnot, whatever, and come back. Well, probably about 15-20 minutes after I'm in this room, the nurse comes back with a wheelchair, and he says, well, sis, they want me to take you to ICU. So I'm looking like, ICU for what? Oh, well, they just want to keep a closer eye on you, and it'll be easier for the nurses to do that in ICU, and no. I was like, all right, whatever. So I pack everything up, call my mom, tell her what's going on. I get in the wheelchair, he takes me to ICU. So I am sitting on this bed, and the ICU nurse comes in, and she says, she's doing my little registration stuff, going through the whole motion again. So she's doing all of this, and she says, well, you know what's going on. You know what they say or what they think is going on. And I rose up on the bed, and I said, actually, I don't. Do you want to tell me? And she lays her pen down, and she turns around, and she looks at me and says, well, they think you had a heart attack. I'm like, do what? A heart attack? Like, I don't have heart attacks. Like, that's what my mind went like, huh? And immediately I started to think, like, everything that I had been taught to look for, none of that happened. Like, none of that happened. I had no pain, like, from start to finish. No pain. There was no shooting, no anything. There was none of that. I did have a slight shortness of breath, but I was fat. Like, I mean, I'm still fat, but you know what I mean? Like, I was big. Like, I didn't think, anything of it or anything like that. There was no pain in my right arm. It was fine. Everything was on my left side. Like, everything that I had been taught to watch for, none of that was what happened. None. Zilch. None of it. So, I called my mom, because I'm lightweight panicking on the inside, but, My pride ain't gonna let me show that to these people that I don't know. And I'm here by myself, mind you, because we thought they were just keeping me for observation. No, that wasn't it. So my mom comes back, my brother comes, another friend comes, and I just, in that moment, I didn't know what to think. Like, trying to process the fact that, one, you just told me I had a heart attack. Two, I've been here all this time and nobody has said a word. Literally, the whole time I was in the emergency room, you took me to a regular room and then you moved me to ICU. And in none of that time did anybody think to say, hey, we think you had a heart attack. No. And even then, they would not even confirm, like, it was not even fully confirmed until the next morning. So, I spent the night in ICU, and the very next morning, and I mean bright and early, the very next morning, they got me up out of there. They had an ambulance waiting, and they took me to Pikeville. It was not officially confirmed, and I was not officially told that I had a heart attack until I got to PMC. That is who confirmed it. Pikeville Medical Center is where it was confirmed. So that is where my journey and how my journey with heart disease started. Like, imagine you not ever having any kind of issue like this before, and boom, surprise! You know, we just played around with you for the last 6 hours, but you were in full-blown heart attack. Like, seriously? But that's how it happened. That is how I found out. That's when I learned that something was wrong. And how I got diagnosed. It's crazy. But of course, that's how life goes with me, because, you know, nothing can be easy. Nothing can be straight, black and white to the point. No, it doesn't work like that. After the fact of them finally getting me to PMC and doing all of that, I had to have a heart cath done because we needed to know if I had any blockages. So that was the first thing that they did, should I say, to figure out if there were blockages, and I had none. Now, granted, I'll admit, I was dumb on the whole heart attack facts and things of that nature, because I thought that the blockages were what caused the heart attacks. I didn't know you could have a heart attack without having blockages. But that is how I found out that I had cardiomyopathy. And with cardiomyopathy, I have heart attacks. But it is because of the weakening of the muscles of my heart. So blockages in my arteries and all that, none of that matters, because it's about the pulsing and the pumping of my heart and the beating of my heart. So processing all of that, I can say, was tough. I think more so than anything in the beginning, I was more in shock. Like, I'm 38 years old at the time. I'm still in my prime. Like, I'm considering myself still young. I'm, just starting to live life. Just starting to, And then this comes, and I'm like, well, this is going to require a lot of life changes, because I didn't know what else could happen, like what more was going to come, this is all new to me. So I started researching, and I started looking up things and just trying to educate myself, because clearly I was dumb to all of this. So I'm trying to learn, everything. So moving on from there, I spent a few days in the hospital. They gave me some new medication, a new regimen, and all of that. And then probably about a couple weeks after I was released from the hospital, I received a phone call. I am in my house and I answer the phone, and it's Pikeville Medical. And the lady on the other line says, "Hi, Ms. Siggers. I am calling to schedule your consultation for your internal defibrillator, and wanted to see when would be a good time for you to come." And you know me, I'm like, my what? Again, here we are again. Nobody's telling me what's going on. I'm just finding out. But what I learned, she went on to explain, was that I had a low ejection fraction that they found out when I was there, when I had my heart attack. And what that is the measurement of how well my heart pumps blood, right? So a normal ejection fraction, they say, is 70 to 75%, I believe, for a high ejection fraction. Mine at the time was 25%, and that is not considered to be very well. So the cardiologist had referred me to the surgeon for a possibility of a internal defibrillator and things of that nature. So I will go into a little more detail probably in the next episode. I just kind of wanted to give an idea of where it all started and how this all started. It was a lot. Having to go through something that, one, you never expect, you never even thought was a possibility, and then boom, one day you're slapped in the face with it. And it's like, I never had heart issues. Or, okay, let me take that back. Let me say, I never knew I had heart issues. Clearly, as time has gone on and we've gone through this process, I've learned that I had to have them long before I had this heart attack. We don't even know if that was legit the first one I'd ever had, because, look at how the first one was. And what's crazy is, a couple weeks before I had the one on February 1st, I had some of the same symptoms on a Sunday morning. I remember because I could not go to church, and my mom called my cousin, auntie, I call her, to come to the house because I was sick. So I don't know, and I've thought about that so many times. I wonder if that was the same thing. I don't know. And whatnot. But it's just, it was a lot. it was a lot to take on. It was a lot to process, and truthfully, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I'm still processing this whole life that I have stepped into, I guess you could say. I am still trying to understand and grasp and get a hold of. So, we're learning. But we'll dig a little more in on the next episode. So, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you for swinging through. And, yeah. This is my life with cardiomyopathy. We're learning, we're processing, and we're growing. So, I'll see you next time for our next Heart to Heart. Peace out.